Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, my name is Sonia, my pronouns are she, her, and welcome to another Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursdays. This week, wait a minute, we did one last week. We've switched to bi-weekly, so I can have more time to, get my videos ready and to play Tears of the Kingdom. More at the second than the first, now that Tears of the Kingdom is up. It's irrelevant, we did one last week, this is my off week. What could I possibly be covering that's, so crucial that I have to break my schedule for it? Really? You have notes? This is not the kind of program that has notes. Oh, right! Duh! The newest trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem dropped on Wednesday, so we gotta talk about it. But yeah, like I said, going bi-weekly, so this kind of throws a wrench into the scheduling. We'll have a new one next week, and then we'll go every other week after that. So, I am crazy hyped for this movie, guys. I cannot even begin to tell you how amazing this trailer makes me feel, the excitement it gives me for this new movie. Where do I start? Let's start with the Turtles. Because they are just amazing. It is a cool, kind of fresh take, but still very familiar. And it touches on things, that's what I love about different iterations of the Turtles, is they can touch on things that previous iterations may have hinted at, but didn't really go delve fully into. So, the first thing that really caught me is oh my god, that's so cool they did that moment, is that in the beginning of the trailer, Leonardo reveals that, they went out for pizza against Splinter's wishes. And Mikey goes, I can't believe you ratted us out. To which Splinter goes, don't use that word in that way. And Mikey gets all sheepish and he says, sorry, Dad. And I don't think they've ever called Splinter Dad in any of the other iterations. He's always Splinter or Master Splinter. He's seen as a sensei, but he is still very much an unspoken father figure to them. He raised them, he takes care of them. He is their dad, even though he's treated in most things more like the honorary sensei role, and when he says my sons, that's more like a student type thing. But just to really hear them call him Dad was really cool. And they do it again later in the trailer. So that was really cool. Also in that scene, you get to see what I'm so looking forward to in this movie, because it really kind of brings back that sort of that free-flowing dialogue that we see in the 87 Turtles. And that's because all the primary cast recorded together, so you have some of that great improv, and I think that is a beautiful, beautiful stroke of genius by Seth Rogen to do that, because that really captures some of what makes Turtles great, is that interplay between the brothers. Also, talking about the brothers, they have much more grounded desires in this movie. There's a scene later on in the trailer where Michelangelo is talking about, if they weren't mutants, if they weren't, shunned by society, what would they want to do if they could have anything in life? And their answers are, I don't know, go to high school and get a girlfriend. They want just to be accepted, which is something that all of us can relate to. Some of us more than others, especially people like me in the queer community, but it's something that anybody who's ever felt like an outcast can immediately relate to, and I think that's so cool. So cool. Later on in the trailer, we get sort of the 80s, well, sort of not even the 80s, but sort of the theme song rundown of the Turtles, told in a very sincere way by Splinter, with intercut with different movie scenes. I imagine in the movie this scene is going to be him, the four turtles sat around him, and him, going over what makes each one of them special, trying to, help bring them up and bring them together as a team for, the final battle or something. He says, Michelangelo, you have heart. Donatello, you have wisdom. Raphael, you have bravery. And Leonardo, you have honor. And that perfectly encapsulates what's great about these characters. Because it expands upon what we already know about them. Michelangelo likes to party, but he likes to have a good time. He likes other people to have a good time. He has a great heart. Intelligence is not necessarily the same as wisdom, but Donatello has both. Raphael is brash and he rushes into different dangers head on, but he's brave. He doesn't worry about losing. He just goes, balls out. in Leonardo, yeah, he's the leader. He's sometimes seen as sort of the stick in the mud, but he has honor. He is a born leader, and I like honor as a way of saying that without saying it. So that is great. And of all four turtles, I'm already loving Raphael the most. There's a scene like where they're getting ready to take on some thugs, and he goes like, "I dream of fighting every night." And Donatello's like, "You have an anger problem." "It's not a problem, man." And I'm just like, I love this just like testosterone-filled, just teenage, just Tasmanian devil of just aggression and just like boisterous like enthusiasm coming from Raph. I am so excited to see more of Raphael in this movie. So the turtles are great. I love what they're doing with them. I love that we see more of their personalities and see more of their desires of just wanting to be accepted. We get to see more out of April, and true to her origins, she is a reporter in this, or sort of. She definitely feels like an amateur sleuth, like an internet detective, and she seems to be very integral in introducing the turtles to the main villain in this movie, which we will get to, or at least who appears to be the main villain, which we'll also get to. She's got like this big, like, I keep wanting to call it a Pepe Sylvia board. If you've seen that scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like the string board, like trying to figure out who this mystery crime lord is. He's called Superfly, and no one's seen his face, because everyone who sees his face, he kills. To which the turtles are like, "Oh, that's so cool, that's so bad." She's like, "No, it's not cool." And they're like, it's kind of cool. So yeah, Superfly is the villain of this piece. And he is the Magneto to the Ninja Turtles X-Men. It's going to be one of those type of movies where we have mutants on both sides, both making valid points, because let's face it, Magneto was right. But yeah, his crew consists of all the other mutants that they mentioned in the previews. So it's Genghis Frog, it's Leatherhead, it's Bebop, Rocksteady, Mondo Gecko, Ray Fillet, and Wingnut, and I don't think I left anyone out. That looks right. These are actual notes. Yeah, so, and Superfly is himself a mutant. He's a giant mutant fly. Also, Baxter Stockman is in this crew, I think. There's a character who looks very lobster-like, but also kind of insectoid, that I guess is Baxter, because he was listed in the cast list, and we haven't seen anybody else that looks like that. A very different take on Baxter. But yeah, Superfly is voiced by Ice Cube. He's this big, kind of muscular, he's got like one really swole arm, and he is a mutant fly. And he is this crime lord who's been terrorizing New York City, and with the end goal of taking over the world and making it a world for mutants. And we don't get to see much of like Leatherhead or Wingnut in the trailer. We do get a really good shot of Genghis Frog. He is so small. He's so tiny. He's like got maybe 2 feet tall at most. He's a little bitty guy, but he does have his battle axe, so I like that. We get to see Mondo Gecko, who's seems very new age. He has like a lot of beads. I'm not sure if I'm sold on that design. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm like, it's fine. It's cool. The design I love the most is actually Ray Fillet, which is great because he's one of my favorite turtle like sidekick characters. He's got like an eye missing. I think it's his left eye that's missing, or his right eye. One of his eyes is missing. It looks like it's got scarred over, like a battle scar. So it's a snorkel mask, like with the snorkel, like over his other eye, like a reverse eye patch. And I could like totally see this being a design like back in the Playmates days for like a character. So I really love that. Yeah, and another cool thing is we get to see a teensy-weensy glimpse of the origin of Superfly and his crew, which is very different than what we normally get with a mutation in the Turtles universe. It's not just like, oh, green mutagens spilled on an animal, and they were last in contact with a human, so now they've mutated into a humanoid form. No, we see embryos for like Mondo Gecko. I'm not sure who the one on the far left is, but like Bebop and Rocksteady, like in these test tubes of like full of mutagen or some sort of green substance, and we see a scientist or someone behind them. We don't really get to see much about them. I want to say that this is the character played by Maya Rudolph, who is only known as Cynthia Utrom. Utrom, if you do not know, is the species that inspired Krang. Krang later actually being retconned into an Utrom, but they are the brain-like aliens that inhabit the exosuits, and they're usually responsible for a lot of the mutagen shenanigans. So whether or not she's actually an alien or it's just a clever nod to what's come before, I think that we're going to find out that the catalyst and possibly the major villain of this piece is actually Cynthia Utrom, because if she shows up in the trailer, she doesn't show up all that much. And they definitely seem to be keeping her secret. So, sorry if I spoiled stuff. I'm a big old nerd. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, it's going to be, I think, a really cool, fresh story. We haven't really seen them, at least to my knowledge, in what I've digested of Turtles. And I know there's so much. There's over 30 years of Turtles stories and medias to digest. So for me personally, the whole Brotherhood of Evil Mutants versus the the TMNT X-Men is not something I've really seen. They touched on it a little bit in the 87 show, in the God's Awful Red Sky seasons, which, oh my god, when we get to those, when I get the equipment to be able to do video capture, like off the DVDs, oh, I'm gonna rip those seasons apart, honey. Hate them. So being able to see it in something that I actually think I'll like is a really cool thing for me. We get a lot of other cool montages. We get action shots. We get some really cool homages to past Turtles iterations. There's a scene where they're discussing being able to trying to take down Superfly so they can be heroes and be accepted. And in Donatello's imagination, it's all drawn in crayon, but like the Turtles themselves look very much like the early drawings from Eastman Laird, like from the Mirage days. There's a scene like where they're getting battle ready and they're on the roof and their eyes all white out and they look a little bit more intimidating, kind of like the 2003 iteration / the IDW iteration. And then the trailer caps off with them jumping jumping over, I can't remember if it's like a broken road or like jumping off like an overpass in a pizza van, which I'm guessing is going to eventually become the Turtle Van, which I love. I love that idea. And they all yell what I yell at the beginning of every video. They all go cowabunga, so I'm geeking out. I'm loving it. So yeah, there's so much to love in this first trailer, and there's some stuff that absolutely terrified me. Mainly, after they introduce Superfly and his gang of mutants, we see 2 shots of these giant kaiju monsters that the Turtles are facing off against. And if I had to guess, I would think that either Cynthia or Superfly has unleashed mutagen over New York City with absolutely terrifying results. These are not traditional Ninja Turtle mutants. These are Cronenberg monsters. Like, they have different pieces of animals, like, stuck on them, and not like in a mutant way, like in just like we just grafted these on. The first one, I had to watch a couple times to notice that it's like this very insectoid creature. Its left arm is what I can only describe as a wall of nightmares. It's just got like faces and like heads and like feet and hands just making up this mass of flesh, like capped off by fingers that are just narwhals. Their entire narwhals are this thing's finger. It's got like most of a giraffe and like the head of an elephant like grafted to its head. And all of these things, like the narwhal, the giraffe, the elephant, they look terrified. They might be alive. And that's so... Oh, God, it kind of turns my stomach. Well, body horror is not a great thing for me. The second one you see is even more freaky. It's got the same, like, nightmare wall, narwhal finger arm. It's got, like, a mosquito or some sort of, like, insectoid head. Its torso is a whale. Its torso is just a whale. And it's got a foot that's like another nightmare wall with, like, cow legs dangling off it and this stretched out, screaming face. And it's really freaky. Like, if this was in anything other than animation, we'd be probably looking at, like, a heavy PG-13 for disturbing images. But I don't want to end on a bad note. Like I said, there is so much to love. I love the simple desires of a teenager being reflected in these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really love like the familial unit of the four turtles and their father Splinter. I love, like I said, the design of Ray Flay. I love the whole Magneto versus X-Men aspect of it. I love it. It's going to be a great origin story. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for the next trailer, and I cannot wait to be there. Opening day, I'm going to be there with shells on. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you check out the trailer. Maybe look for things that I didn't notice. Let me know in the comments if there's anything cool I missed in the trailer. Alright, as always, you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at SoniaOutAndProud, and I will see you all on the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursdays. Bye!